Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. A money line. We are live. It's an exciting UFC Singapore card coming up this Saturday. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy Mike Finch. What's happening, my man?
I'm still over here celebrating from all the W's we got last week. Damn near perfect card for AJ and I. And AJ hit you just told me, I hope you don't mind me saying, you hit the finish pick on Sugar Sean. So personally, you picked the KO for yourself. I was trying to sweeten the pot and hit that submission, hoping he'd hit that guillotine, but he was in one of my parlays too, so it's all good. We money lined him as well. And just big prediction for us to both go with Sugar Sean, and we got it, AJ.
Let's go, Sugar Sean, baby. We'll get into the recap of UFC 292 to start the show off, and then we're going to jump in the picks and have some fun. I will tell you guys, if you're tuning into the UFC Singapore card this weekend, be prepared to either not sleep if you're stateside or get up damn early. 5 a.m. Eastern time start for that card. So it's super early, man. Super early. I'll be up though. I'm waking up at 4:30. I'll get a little something, maybe have a coffee, and then I'll get into it,
Does AJ put in the work for you guys? Come on, man. You're getting his ass out of bed that early. Let's go, AJ. That's dope.
Let's go. Let's get into the fights. We're going to start with last week, of course, and we're going to talk about each fight that I feel is seriously notable to mention. Sean O'Malley, Aljamain Sterling. This one here was the Sugar Show doing his thing. Aljamain Sterling had a bit of kicking success to the legs in the first round. And the thing that I noticed is he really had a hard time tracking O'Malley down, which I thought O'Malley would be a hard guy to get a hold of because he moves so well. And it was pretty evident towards the end, though, of the first round. You have Aljo backing him up, throwing some punches in the clinch. I'm like, all right, that's what Aljamain Sterling's looking to do. But I still like the fact that there was a lot of grappling resistance from Sean, and it was extremely hard for Sterling to set anything up. And then we get to the second round, and I think Aljamain Sterling, it was potentially a bit of frustration setting in. Damn, I fucking can't close the gap. Fuck this. Let's go. Kind of the eat one to land one mentality got him put out because he came in head over his feet. Right there, O'Malley does the fucking step back as Aljamain Sterling kind of squared up and switched his stance. Perfect shot, drops him. Big follow-up strikes. And I thought the fight could have been stopped earlier. When I'm hearing the commentary say late stoppage, I'm like, dude, there was 8 strikes after Sterling had went down, and he went limp on multiple occasions. I just think the end of it maybe looked worse because Sterling turtled over, and it looked like, oh, maybe he's coming back to life. I know Joe Rogan on the commentary was kind of reiterating that point multiple times, but I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on the stoppage, Mike? And then obviously it's the fight overall, but I'm curious if you agreed that that stoppage could have been earlier rather than later.
You don't want him to come back differently. You want Aljamain Sterling to still have a good career after this. He was a couple punches away from being completely out, flatlined out, and the referee saved him. I mean, I think it was a good stoppage. Had it been stopped a couple punches earlier, I think, as you just pointed out, AJ, I think that could have risked being early, but they gave him some time. That was the proper way to deal with it. Let's see what the champ does here. Let's see if he could pop back up on his feet. Let's see if he can intelligently defend himself. And what he was doing was rolling around on his back, eating big shots. And O'Malley was coming through with a nice straight cross. I remember towards the end of that KO finish, he landed this perfect straight cross down the pipe. I believe that's what triggered the referee to step in. So yes, Aljo was going to try to roll up onto his knees, but what? Just to eat another bomb to the ear, to the temple. No reason to have that. We want these guys to come back 100%. You heard the same thing about the Israel Adesanya knockout when Alex Pereira TKO'd him. What happened? Israel Adesanya came back better than ever. So, it's a good thing that these guys are going to have a long career, and we don't need to see them get completely flatlined. At least I don't. I'm good with the stoppage.
I was glad. Yeah, I thought it was at the right time. I was obviously excited as hell for O'Malley. And it seems like we got Nick Couture excited in the chat as well. I took Sugar KO in the second for plus 1,500, only 40 though. It's still great. I was floor seats. Place went insane when Sugar KO'd Aljo. Nelk boys were cool too for autographs. That's sick, man. Nick Couture, thank you for the $5. I'm glad you have fun at the event. That's dope that you were on the floor and you got to breathe it all in and be there. I was here on the live stream, man, and during the O'Malley fight, we had like over 1,200 live viewers, so I was fucking grateful to be sitting here live, but I'm glad that you got to enjoy it in person, bro.
Yeah, awesome fight to be there live for. I'm seeing all these different cell phone angles of the KO. Looked like a fun one to be live there for. Very cool, Nick.
We got Glenn Gippy with the 1999
Thank
super
you, Glenn.
sticker. Very generous, Glenn.
Did you cash a bet, Glenn? Because
You
I'll
must
tell
have.
you what, after the fight, I went and surfed around a little bit. I wanted to check that famous guy in the wheelchair. You know who I'm talking about? I wanted to check other people, and nobody else was picking Sugar Show. As far as to say that one guy in the wheelchair I'm mentioning, you guys will know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He said, nobody predicted that. Nobody predicted that. Come on, son. Come on. So it's cool that you guys cashed some bets. I remember a couple people in the comments saying that Aljamain was a steal at these odds, and that, you know, a comparison to the last big boxing match there, you know,
Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence.
So no, it was nice little dog money on Sugar Show in hindsight. And so I'm glad you guys cashed some bets. That's very, very
Glenn,
cool.
my guy. Thank you for the dono, Glenn Gippy, my guy. And I'm glad you like the info.
Thank
Mark
you, Mark.
Ritchie, thank you for the buck, my man. We appreciate
Let
your
me talk about the
donation
fight.
too. Yeah, let's go, Mike. Let's go.
How crazy that Sugar was not training his takedown defense. You heard about this
That's
injury?
insane. Yeah.
Whoa. And let's start from the walkout. How nervous was Sugar Sean O'Malley walking out to that fight? I mean, I have never seen anything like, if you are what you say you are,
It worked.
a superstar, then have no fear, because the camera's here. Dude, I chills, buddy. Chills. I've been watching fights for 30 years. Chills still on that walkout. That was awesome. And here he is, like he's like taking off his hoodie while he's walking. It's like, brother, just relax, enjoy yourself a little bit. And sure enough, he admitted it afterwards. He's like, I have never been that nervous for a walkout. Brother, he had me nervous.
Yeah, he was. Listen, it was a huge moment. And, you know, not training the grappling for several weeks heading up against a specialist in Aljamain. He didn't need it. The reps had been implemented before. He didn't have the ability to train it, but he was able to avoid the position so well, man. I gotta say Sean O'Malley is the real shit. And I gotta also say Victor's the real shit with the 199 dono in chat. AJ, you the GOAT always. We getting Dana White's Contender Series predictions. Yes, sir. Before I got on here, I was telling Mike that I was finishing them up. After the money line, I'll be recording my Contender Series picks and upload them. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled around 11 p.m., 12 a.m. Eastern time. They should be up on the channel for everybody to hear. Victor, we thank you for the $1. And we got Robert Salandino, too, the Italian stallion, the $5 dono, my guy. Vera was the second coming of Roberto Duran, dodging punches in the pocket with precision skill. Rogan and DC completely missed it. Vera versus Sean, decision. I like that fight. I want to see them face off again, and timelines seem to be working out to make it. Yeah, I had a gripe. If you watch my recap show, I was ripping apart the commentary for this fight here. It was, in my opinion, blatantly fucking disrespectful. The fact that Marlon Vera is landing beautiful punches inside and the commentators are conversating about what have you. And then Munoz lands a couple of shots as the combo ends. And it's like excitement. Oh, Munoz hits him. It seemed like they were selling us that Munoz was winning the fight the whole time. And to me, I thought if you scored the first round for Munoz, you should never judge a fight again. To me, that was 100% Vera's first and third. No argument. He won the fight.
Yeah, no argument. He won the fight. That's Jason Perillo boxing, man. He really trusts in Jason, and him and Jason Perillo really got his hands on a whole other level. So he was out there putting him to work. And I like the call out from Sugar Sean, man. Why not? You know, and I think it's fair to criticize Sugar for not mentioning Merab. I mean, come on. Is Merab not kind of the number one contender? Is that not pretty clear?
Here's why no.
Go on.
because I think the rules of the sport, you deny a title fight, you say no, I don't care if it's your teammate, you told us no, we go to the next guy. I'm the UFC. I don't want somebody that says no as my champion. So next in line, timeline-wise, is Vera or Aljamain. But also, I will say the most deserving contender outside of an Aljamain immediate rematch would be Corey Sandhagen, because right now he's ripping through everybody and he looks amazing. And can you imagine the martial arts on display between those two would be off the charts? Like, I'm a big fan of that matchup, and that's what I ultimately would want to see. But Marlon Vera seems ready to go in December, and if O'Malley's serious about that, I don't know if Aljamain wants to do another quick turnaround. He just got knocked out. I think he needs a bit of time. I feel like this is how I'm going to predict the timelines play out. It's going to be this. It's going to be O'Malley versus Vera, December. It's the matchup. I think that, let's say O'Malley gets through it, but I'll tell you, man, Chito Vera stylistically is not an easy fight for Sean O'Malley. It's a weird stylistic matchup because Vera is very durable and can go long. And then I think what happens is Aljamain would be the following guy. So Sandhagen would probably end up fighting Merab or Cejudo versus Merab, something like that, to find the next contender up. I think that there needs to be one more because of a dominant champion who deserves a shot again for the belt, but an in-between fight, the only guy that makes sense availability-wise is Marlon Vera. Merab is also injured too. He's on the sidelines alongside of Corey Sandhagen. You cannot tell me that Henry Cejudo deserves a shot. I can't put Cejudo in there. No way I'm putting Cejudo in. I would rather see the guy who has a win over the champion get a chance in the title fight.
It's too bad Cejudo versus Chito didn't happen. That fight was made, and
that would have been the number one contender fight.
Right. And then that would have been Cejudo's ticket to get into this fight, because I do think Henry Cejudo is a pretty tough matchup for a Sugar Sean. At this point, I mean, Sugar's got to be coming in 3-1 favorite over Chito Vera. I mean, right?
I say I like -150, dude. I don't think he's that big of a favorite because I look at this. Chito Vera is built for 5 rounds. Sean O'Malley is not necessarily, proven that he has that high output for the full 5, right? You look through the UFC run. So I don't know, man. I kind of feel like Marlon Vera might be the boogeyman style, like how, Nate Diaz to Conor McGregor, the matchup was just extremely tough. That's kind of what Vera seems to be with O'Malley. Like, I think they might end up going all 5, and then O'Malley takes a competitive decision over him.
I don't think either of them have really shown to be 5-round fighters in this sense, that Chito's not much of a round winner. He's, you go back to the Sandhagen fight to take a look at that. It's like, neither of them have really shown, to be this like championship rounds type guy. I know what you mean, that he has his cardio late. I understand what you're saying, but Sugar Sean hasn't like gassed out bad. So I don't know. I don't know that I give Chito a big advantage over 25 minutes. I think if anything, Sugar Sean is a little bit better at winning rounds. Although you could say he lost that first round to Aljo. He factually lost it on the scorecards. It's pretty damn razor thin. But, it's a fun fight between those two. I like it. All I'm saying at the end of the day, really, I think Sugar Sean knows that Merab is a tougher fight for him than Chito. I think he believes that.
I don't know. I think that he knocks Merab out. I think Merab might be easier because I'm looking at Merab when he fought a real slick guy in Marlon Moraes. He was knocked down multiple times, and that was a past his prime Marlon Moraes. Then I look at the precision and length of O'Malley, the difficulty that Aljamain had getting a hold of him. I just feel like there's a chance that O'Malley styles on Merab with that big height difference, dude.
Be honest, really quick. Different matchup. Chito versus Merab. Who wins?
I think Chito can pull it on the card. Potentially.
Merab hits 50 takedowns, brother.
Merab, you're right. You know what? Merab could take. I guess I'm alluding the Sandhagen fight from my mind. I think Merab could win it on the cards too. It's a close fight. I think Merab's output's a problem. It just depends if Vera could hurt him.
It's an interesting matchup with Sugar because Sean will stand with him. So yes, him and Chito's a fun fight. I want to see it. Chito's my neighbor. I'm rooting for him. I'll definitely go interview him before that fight if that's the next title fight in December, as Sugar Show wanted. Count me in. I'm not hating on it. I'll be honest. I think the dark horse here is Merab. Merab's takedown onslaught is incredible. You want to talk about cardiovascular strength? You want to talk about a guy who could go 5 rounds?
Oh, yeah.
Merab is a problem.
Yeah, no, that is facts. He can go long. I am in. Listen, I'm all in. I think that he's coming up. But I'll say this. I'm getting this McGregor aura. I think we go O'Malley versus Cheeto, O'Malley versus Aljo, and then O'Malley crosses over to boxing, bro. They give him the chance. And he gets the bag.
Gervonta Davis.
I saw that.
Sean, chill, Sean.
No, that's a good move, man.
Sean.
Dude, there's too much money. You know how much you would get from that fight? Do it. I'm all in.
Broken rib is what he's going to get from that fight.
Listen, I would take a broken rib for the paycheck he's going to get. Are you kidding? I'll fucking take a bat to the side.
Yeah. Fair enough. Tiffany Shields wants me to take my shirt off again. Thank you, Tiffany, our one female fan. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate that. The chest hair has got to stay away. Somebody said they thought thought I had like a carpet up here or something. Yeah. They thought I had like a chest tattoo. No, that's just testosterone, folks. Thank you, Tiffany. Listen, man, I think what's going to happen is Cheeto will get granted that fight if Merab really is injured right now. And what happens then is it leaves Henry Cejudo to fight that cardio machine, Merab Divashvili, and it'll be Cejudo versus Merab, and that'll just be an insane matchup of 2 phenomenal wrestlers and a true, like, in his prime cardio powerhouse and one of the goats, a combat sports goats in Henry Cejudo. So it's a sick fight, but like if you're Henry's manager, I think they like that Cheeto fight better. So funny how matchups work, right? But those will be the fun, more fun fights, right? Give me the Striker's Delight, Sugar Show versus Chito Vera. He's earned it. And then back to the fight, AJ. Very impressive performance for him. I watched that fight twice now. I've seen that KO 100 times now. A little bit of Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo-esque. Yeah. Big congrats to Sugar Show, man. What a huge deal for him to win that fight by knockout.
It's sick, man. He's the world champ. He pulled it off, dude. Incredible. I feel like it's weird, though, because I'm sitting here thinking about the division, and it's like, wow, bantamweight is just so stacked. It's so hard to get up there and challenge for a belt because Corey Sandhagen, timeline's not going to work out. It's very possible, exactly what you says happens. Merab beats Henry Cejudo. Is Sandhagen now not in no man's land? Who's he fighting? But it's like, wait, what if Aljo wants the immediate rematch? That's the issue with Aljo then not, fighting Merab. Would both
Umar? We haven't brought up Umar.
Umar's on the come up too. Umar's on the come up running through people.
This division has got some fights for you guys over the next year.
Insane. I love the bantamweight division. I do think that it's probably the most stacked division in combat sports, and I can't wait for more, man. Yeah.
Damn, right now, this is the peak for the bantamweight division, All right, and then let me drive one more thing home. One more thing home.
Let's hear it.
You guys at home kept agreeing with Sugar Sean, and you were saying that Aljamain Sterling is the greatest bantamweight ever. Why does the greatest bantamweight ever lunge over his feet and get knocked out in the second round by an injured Sugar Sean O'Malley? Does the greatest bantamweight ever have a resume to prove that? Yeah, he beat TJ Dillashaw because TJ's shoulder got dislocated. Yeah, he beat Henry Cejudo after Henry Cejudo had been out for years, and it was an even fight. You're telling me that an even fight with pot smoking off the couch Henry would go the same as the Henry who was dominating, a real fight with TJ Dillashaw, a real fight with, guys in their prime, like, I guess Dominic Cruz maybe wasn't perfectly in his prime, but Marlon Moraes was, so he's got big wins. Obviously Mighty Mouse was, I think that Henry Cejudo you have to put above Aljamain. I think Dominic Cruz you have to put above Aljamain. TJ Dillashaw is a conversation, but greatest bantamweight of all time, you guys gave it to him too easy. That's why AJ and I both picked Sugar Sean O'Malley, because his striking is not of that level. It's funky, but he takes risks, and he finally paid for it.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I don't know. With Cejudo, though, his bantamweight run, it was quick, man. Wasn't a long time on top. I think overall GOAT status he'd be higher, but purely bantamweight, I think
I
I'm
see
gonna
what you're
go.
saying. I
I'm gonna
respect
go.
that.
I'm gonna
But
go
he went
Cruz
to an
first.
even fight, a split
Very true.
decision
Close.
off the couch. I told you guys I was in his living room smoking pot with him. That is not prime
True.
Henry Cejudo. Prime Henry Cejudo was the guy who beat Mighty Mouse. Okay, prime Henry Cejudo is better than Aljamain. I believe so.
I know. I understand your points. I think they're very valid. Prime's lining up. Aljamain's kind of got the statistical GOAT status because of the title defenses, but I still would favor the prime Dominic Cruz, at least on my side. I'm kind of thinking I'd give him that nod. I think he's the best bantamweight of all time right now.
And you got to respect the Dominic Cruz run better. I mean, Dominic Cruz beat people in their primes at the top. There was no freak shoulder injury. There was no coming off of years out. You know, Dominic Cruz beat people while they were on a roll. I respect that more. You know, not now. I shouldn't just sit here and hate on Aljamain. Aljamain's one of the greatest bantamweights of all time. But for you guys to just give him that crown, it was too early, and I think we learned that.
Yeah. No, I think good points, dude. DJ Oli Senti Mangier, thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars. I bet the house on Sterling at plus 200. I now have 3 houses. I think you mean you bet the house on Sugar at plus 200. If you guys ever come to Montreal on a vacation with your multiple Victoria's Secret girlfriends, you both have a house waiting for you. Hey, thank you, bro.
Let's go, AJ.
That's great.
Let's go, AJ. Are we doing this? I want to go to. I've never been to Canada.
Listen, you know what? God bless Canada. You have fun up in Canada. I'm staying down south, my man. I'm staying down south, staying in the warmth. You know what I'm saying?
I heard they closed the border, bro. I heard it's harder to get into Canada now. You know, when I was a kid, you used to just walk across, you know, and you'd be able to hang out in Canada. Now I guess it's a little more difficult.
Listen, they're tightening up their border security, bro. They're keeping their southern border strong, bro. What the fuck?
My passport, though. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock.
Good.
I think it was no passport when we were kids, you know, and I'm from Chicago and I've never been to Canada. It's a disgrace. I might take you up on that, my friend. Hit me up. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, Ali Point VTV, thank you for the 199. Aljo left me frozen like Elsa. LOL. That's funny, dude. Yeah, I wish you would have been on Sugar Show if Aljo froze up the betting. You know what I'm saying? Much love, bro. Thank you for the 199. Listen, I want to still talk a little bit more about the card. We went deep on the main, so we'll jump to the co-main real quick. I think that Weili Zhang looked very good, dominating Amanda Lemos, besides a couple of scary moments. Crazy fucking like anaconda. Lemos is like a damn boa constrictor. She's a freak. She's a freak. But Weili with a dominant and clean win, and I thought she looked quite good. And I feel like the Yan Xiaonan Battle of China would be amazing to do in China heading into 2024. I think that would be one of the craziest fights, right? Can you imagine those two in China facing off? Holy shit. That would be sick.
Probably going to go down, right? I mean, Dana was saying they wanted to go to China next with Weili. Weili's down to take on whatever challenger she was saying at the post-fight presser. The stars have aligned, folks. We got to do China v. China.
I love that. I love that. All in for that. And I think Tatiana Suarez is not far out from a title shot either, beating Jessica Andrade. The reason she would be behind and not get it over Yan Xiaonan is Xiaonan beat Andrade before she did. So I think that you got to give it to Xiaonan, especially the fact that she's also Chinese. Like the Battle of China, I think is kind of like a super sick fight to sell. You know, 2 of the top tier fighters in the world, and they're both Chinese fighters. Do it in China. I'm voting thumbs up to do it there.
Be honest with me, though. You're picking Tatiana Suarez over any other challenger, aren't you? If she was going to match up with any of these other ladies, Tatiana Suarez is the real dark horse in the division. She's the real challenge.
Listen, I'm picking Tatiana Suarez probably to be a champion heading into 2024. So first and foremost, I think we got to do that China v. China fight. You know what I'm saying? Timelines are having that ahead, dude.
Let me start by praising Weili, okay? Yes. Weili was a part of the parlay, which, by the way, that's 6 parlays in a row, okay? Weili was a part of the parlay because of that wrestling, and oh my God, did she use that wrestling, man. Her wrestling is insane, and to see that from a Chinese fighter, you know, you think of wrestling, you think of Russians, you think of Americans, but here's the best female wrestler we have in the sport next to, maybe a Tatiana Suarez or, Carla Esparza's got the credentials, but damn, Weili's got the performances, man. Sarah McMahon's got the credentials. Weili's got those body lock slams, the ability to control, the ability to change directions while shooting. She keeps her head up nicely, lifts these girls up in the air. I mean, it's beautiful work. It's dynamic wrestling. And shout out to Captain Eric Alberison, because he was posting all week, the great sprawl of China. He said, damn, is he right? Her wrestling's on point, and the bit of wrestling she did do up there at Fight Ready clearly shows with Henry Cejudo and Captain Eric, man. Her wrestling is insane. So Weili deciding where the fight takes place made all the difference. That punch count was insane, the discrepancy between the two, and that's because of that wrestling. Amanda Lemos hit her hard as fuck, AJ. At being at the end of that cross, dude, a couple moments there, I was going, oh shit, I've got too much money riding on Weili right now. I don't want to see her at the end of that cross. And Lemos, obviously, with the choke attempts too, she is tough as nails. Who is tougher than Amanda Lemos? But who is better in the division than Weili? Probably nobody. I'm rooting for Tatiana Suarez as well, but holy shit, she's got a real champ in front of her next year.
Oh, yeah. I listen, I love the idea. That fight hopefully happens at some point. And I want to get to the fight right before this. This was the featured bout of the night. It was Neil Magny, Ian Gary. And Ian Gary styled on Neil Magny for 3 rounds, ripped his leg apart, and got a really clean win. What I took away from the fight is Ian Gary is quite skilled in the stand-up department. He's a sophisticated striker. He can attack the legs well, but what he doesn't have that made Conor McGregor's claim to fame, right? That's got Sean O'Malley as world champion. Heavy hands. He doesn't necessarily, not even heavy hands, but he doesn't even have crazy speed or precision with his punches. I would say he's got the decent hands, but he has more of the Muay Thai striking style that's modified for MMA, where the boxing is not necessarily top tier. He doesn't have a big thud on his shots. He lands clean, and if he finds the chin, sure. But I don't think he's the hugest puncher we've ever seen at welterweight. But his kicking game, off the charts, grappling defense. Neil Magny couldn't get a hold of him. I take nothing bad from this fight for Ian Gary that he didn't finish Neil Magny. I know some people are like, man, he couldn't even finish or hurt Neil Magny. Neil Magny's rarely losing by knockout, and Ian Gary is not a submission specialist. So at the end of the day, come on. Neil Magny's last knockout loss was in a 4th round. This was a 3-round fight. If it would have been in a 4th, maybe he is getting out of there.
Yeah, Neil Magny's a vet, man. Neil Magny's very tough. He always comes in good shape. He's just naturally durable fighter. So, nobody's like knocking Neil Magny out in the 1st round. That is not what we see happen in Neil Magny fights. And AJ brings up a good point. Had that been 5 rounds, it looked like it would have gotten to that point. But, you don't have to have huge power to be a champion. I think Ian Gary could do it with the dominant kickboxing and the takedown defense. It's a great recipe. He's a very, very tough guy to strike with. And man, he really showed his attributes. I think it was a very emotional fight for him. He was really upset by what Neil Magny was saying about, hitting his kids or whatever. And did that bleed into the fight? Yes. With the middle finger and everything. Yes, of course. So a learning experience for Ian Gary, another repetition. And yeah, his stock only went up for me, AJ.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know if his fan base is growing as well as he would have hoped, because he really tried to use that, Neil Magny's a child beater and whatnot. But I think that, there's different ways to raise a kid. And Neil Magny, I don't think, it was fucked up in a sense what he said, but I don't think he's punching his kids in the face. I think he's just kind of using a metaphor. I'll whoop you like I whoop my kids type of thing.
There's a debate, I have it with my Uncle David, who he says, you never spank a kid. Take it from a kid who was pretty brutally spanked, Yeah. There's a middle ground, there's a middle ground. My cat is hanging from the damn, the window over there. I got a little squirt gun. I hit her with a little squirt gun. It's like there has to be some repercussions. So there's a debate to be had. Do you want to beat your children? No. But there is a tough love. And so I don't know. They seem to fall on completely opposite ends of that spectrum. My Uncle David's on the end of the spectrum. You spank your kids, you're a terrible person. You deserve to get your ass beat. I don't know. I think maybe Neil Magny took it too far, and that Ian Gary maybe took a little too much offense as well.
Yeah. It just turned into this weird thing that I don't know. It seems like the fan base, excuse me. It seems like the fan base is pretty torn about how to feel with Ian Gary. I mean, I like Gary's style. I think that he has a lot of skill inside of the octagon. As far as his personality, he's an Irish kid growing up watching Conor McGregor. Can you necessarily blame him for not kind of fucking, replicating a little bit of McGregor's flow with the shit talk? It runs in the culture. They grew up talking like that watching Conor. He probably said all that type of shit through school.
Right, exactly. I mean, and it sells, I'm an Ian Gary fan. I don't know. Did his stock go down? No, I think his stock went up. It's all good. People are still finding out about Ian Gary, but then again, you saw him do his open workout in that bar. Like, how many people are huge fans of Ian Gary already? Man, the sky's the limit. It was all good. What he could, because he didn't get a knockout, he's not the man anymore. No, he's still on fire.
He's got a lot of fucking potential. I'm looking forward to the future. I think that the UFC's in a great spot. And I'll just shout out the two females that opened out, the first two fights on the card, the Silva train. They were awesome. Those were confident picks, both of them. And these Brazilian girls are coming in with some vengeance, man. I think that we have some dangerous 25ers right now. And I just wanted to give them the rub, man, because that shit was impressive as fuck.
Especially Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva's distance management is so good. She looks like she's just on a whole other, it's like things move in slow motion for her. You feel like that old Anderson Silva days, or when Lyoto was like newer to the UFC, where it's like these guys are moving in slow motion in front of him. And the way Natalia Silva was just able to fight when she wanted to, move when she wanted to, so well done. The fight only took place on her terms, and that really shows you that she is one of the best in the world in the female ranks, in period. Forget a weight class. She is phenomenal. And that was a great bet for anybody who made that Natalia Silva bet. And she's going to be starting to be a pretty heavy favorite here in the future because she's phenomenal.
Yeah, agreed. I think she's going to be title challenger in the next 24 months, potentially, if she strings these wins together. But hey, that was UFC 292. It was epic. The live stream went crazy, bro. Almost 50,000 views live. Freaking broke the record for me on the most liked fight companion with 1,100 likes. So that shit was pretty amazing. And I passed 20,000 subscribers, man. So pretty grateful. Thank you guys for the continued support. I'm looking forward to it, getting into it here. So make sure you all smash the likes if you're watching and subscribe if you're new. We're going to break down this UFC Singapore card. And we got the first fight between Seung Choi and Jarno Errens. Mike, I am going to pick Choi to win this fight over Jarno Errens. I feel like Choi can find shots here on the feet. I mean, this dude is like a championship Muay Thai striker. It's like he has a high tier striking rate and skill. He just finds, himself getting caught with weird shit because he's trying to rip a lot of power into his strikes. But a more poised and calculated Choi, I think, is better on the feet than Errens. I don't think there's a significant grappling threat from him either. I went back and watched the William Gomis fight, and there's okay moments for him. He's trying to dig to the body well. He's got decent straight shots. But to me, I'm like, Choi's been in there with so many good names, and he has a good amount of UFC experience. I know the record on paper is pretty ugly for Seung Choi. I believe 10-6 record, but that's a lot of UFC competition experience. So I'm going to go Choi to win this fight, snap the 3-fight losing streak against Jarno Errens. I'll say he'll get it done. Decision, though. I think they're going all three.
I mean, look at the 3-fight losing streak. Alex Caceres, who's going to be in the co-main event of this card. Very, very high-level guy. Josh Culibao, that was a split decision, and Josh Culibao is very talented. And then Michael Trezano. So we're seeing higher-level competition for Seung Choi than Jarno Errens. But Jarno Errens had a decent debut against William Gomis. He showed a little bit of takedown defense. He had a beautiful Ippon throw. He had a completely locked in triangle armbar to finish the fight. So he is definitely good. And the thing about Errens is he throws straighter than Seung Choi. Seung Choi likes to loop his shit super wide, which is dangerous if you end up on the other side, but he's not the fastest guy, AJ, and Errens can kind of get to him a little bit. So it's going to be a no bet for me, especially since Errens hasn't fought bums coming up. Like, he fought decent competition.
Decent European comp for sure. I'll give credit.
Decent European competition where, you know, the guys he was fighting always had winning records, and he was always in competitive fights where the odds weren't insane. So I don't know that he's completely ready for like a UFC gatekeeper level guy like a Choi. And that's why I'll pick Choi, because Choi's got all that UFC experience. They're in Singapore. But Errens is going to push him, man. I could imagine this thing being close.
Yeah, I think Choi on the judges' scorecards, there's moments for Errens here. It's not an easy bout. And I like what you said, though. No bet on the Choi side. He's minus 160 as the favorite, and he opened as large as minus 235. So it seems like Errens is a very popular underdog. Plus 140 for Errens as a dog. To me, first fight of the night, it's going to be 5 a.m. when this shit starts for me on the Eastern time. I ain't throwing the bet down. I'll be fucking groggy at this point. So I'd rather sit back and just enjoy, not take a, big risk here on Choi, who has been a bit of a wild card, because you dig back and watch him fight Alex Caceres. He dropped him. He might have got a TKO if not for the illegal knee. So there's good moments. It's one of those fights that sit, enjoy, watch. I think Choi pulls it off on the cards.
Yeah, we'll go Choi, but Errens is in this thing, man. It's not a crazy dog pick if that's what you guys are thinking. Because of the straight punching versus the looping punching, I could imagine him taking 2 out of 3 rounds here. But 0-1 in the UFC against Choi, who's such a vet, and he did have bad moments with William Gomez too. I mean, he did end up on bottom. He did have some issues, so you could imagine Choi gutting this thing out.
Yeah, let's go Choi to start it off in a risky first fight if you're on the betting side. Next fight on the card is JJ Aldrich versus Liang. I'm picking JJ Aldrich here to win this fight, but the odds are some of the craziest odds I've seen. Like, she's huge as far as a favorite goes. And I think it's because Liang looks so damn raw in her UFC fight. She got quickly knocked out by Gomez Juarez last time. Before that, she had kind of a wild back and forth with Carnelosi where she got finished. And now I got JJ Aldrich, who's kind of the complete polar opposite to Liang. Not crazy and wild, not a big finisher. The decision queen, JJ Aldrich. I'm thinking Aldrich is going to push it to the 3 rounds, play it on the safer side, and win it on the judges' scorecards, dude.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I mean, Aldrich should have better kickboxing, should be able to defend the takedowns. Liang, a little wild. We saw her get absolutely flatlined by Juarez Gomez. Is that getting that name right? Decent right hand she's got. And man, I just think these odds are insane, though. I'm trying to convince myself Liang's going to win this fight. I'm like looking at footage. I'm like, maybe, right? I think it's more competitive than the odds makers think. So another sour one to bet on. Sorry about that, guys. But I'm going to go Aldrich too.
Sour is the bet, but it should be a win with the pick. I just think Aldrich is the better fighter. I mean, she's got a win over Jillian Robertson. That's a big W to have. Liang, she's so wild that she's ducking in like with her head there to be hit, throwing crazy shit. It's fun to watch for sure, and it's going to be interesting to see how Aldrich deals with somebody that's willing to throw caution to the wind. But I think she'll be all right. It's just a terrible betting side, though. Minus 575 for Aldrich. She's not known for finishing fights. I'm seeing an over 2.5 at plus 150 for Aldrich. That's interesting. I guess they're thinking that it's going to be a clear finish, but like Aldrich is not a finisher. Really? So yeah,
I would bet decision too, AJ. I agree with you. Maybe that's the line to hit.
Yeah, that over is weird. I think it's going to go long. I mean, not Liang, though. I will tell you guys, she could put herself into a horrible spot. The way that she gets so wild and reckless and, kind of, like I'm saying, throwing caution to the wind. That's a finishable fighter if she's going all out for it. Aldrich is not a money line pick. I'm not going to have the parlays riding on her. She's a 575 favorite. Liang, you can try to convince yourself that she's going to win if you want to bet big plus money, but like realistically, she's not as good as Aldrich, and she'd be an underdog in a more reasonably lined fight. It'd be minus 250.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I expected to see.
Right.
It's like, what the hell? Is Aldrich a Dagestani now? I think
right.
weren't you saying that on your other
I
show?
was.
Like, what's
Yeah,
what's going on here? Where's all this Aldrich love coming from? They
yeah.
really hating on Liang when Liang's got a little bit of home field advantage, right?
Right. Weird. Is what it is. Aldrich,
Guess
unbettable
we're
money
hating on
line.
it too. We're going Aldrich too.
We're going Aldrich, though. We'll ride with Aldrich. Next fight on the card, we have Yusaku Kinoshita versus Billy Goff. I'm going to pick Kinoshita to win. I liked Kinoshita a lot coming off the Contender Series. And when I go and I watch Billy Goff, not just if you watch the last fight from his Contender Series bout, when you dig into regional tape, this guy gets stung with shots. Now he's tough and he's able to recover, but has he fought anybody with the stopping power of Kinoshita? I don't necessarily think so. I think Kinoshita is going to rip him apart in the stand-up. I think he'll be able to defend the grappling onslaught. I know you can look at Adam Fuget kind of bullying Kinoshita on the ground, but Fuget did have a good physicality advantage over Kinoshita. And Fuget's a Muay Thai fighter, before he, transitioned to MMA. He's got a high-level Muay Thai base. And I think that Billy Goff is too sloppy and wild on the feet looking for these knockouts that Kinoshita finds the dome and chins him. Cautionary tale would just be to say Kinoshita looked horrible off of his back. So at the end of the day, I'm assuming there's been a lot of work there, and Billy Goff does have a bit of wrestling he can mix in, but he seems to fall in love with the hands. So I'll say Kinoshita chins him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing. Kinoshita is explosive. My issue is, does Kinoshita get taken down? Because we've seen Goff has success with takedowns, like you said, on the regional scene. I was doing the same thing. I was on YouTube looking around and watching Goff's takedowns. And could he get some on the fence? Yes, there is a pathway for Goff. That's not a crazy bet, but Kinoshita on the feet, man, I think he stings him up a little bit. Potentially gets him out of there with a TKO.
Yeah, I like Kinoshita to win. He's a -143 favorite. I think he pulls it off. Goff +123. I don't see why he wouldn't get a KO. If Kinoshita is to win, I think his most likely method of victory would be a knockout win. If you dig into Kinoshita, he has never won a fight by decision before, and he's never gone the distance overall. So I think Kinoshita by KO would be the place to bet it. It's plus money. Now you got +185 as opposed to trying to throw down a money line. I know I say this all the time. Oh, just because he hasn't gone distance doesn't mean he can't win a decision, but also Billy Goff is a guy that wants to bang. He likes to make it a dogfight, and he's not here to just hold him down and win rounds. I think even if he does get on top, there's going to be ground and pound. So a spot where you can look at potentially an under 2.5, which is -245, or a Kinoshita knockout at +185.
Yeah, I like the knockout, but the show's money line. That's how we do it around here. It's always safer to go money line. I was trying to get $1,000 on Saturday betting on Sugar Sean by submission just because the odds were so insane. AJ Smart and bet KO. Guys, money line it, and you're gonna be happy more often.
Let's go. Kinoshita to win for us both. And let's keep running up. Next fight, we have Rolando Bedoya versus Kenan Seung. I was pretty impressed with the young Bedoya in the debut, coming in to fight Chaos Williams and sitting in there and striking with him and finding shots. And there's an argument at the end of the fight that Bedoya could have got a split decision. I thought that was really impressive, man. And now I look at Kenan Seung, 2 knockout losses in a row. He did fight Ian Gary, and he was able to get to Gary and land a big punch and hurt him. The fact that Bedoya was able to sit in with Chaos Williams, though, Kenan Seung, I think, is going to bed here. I think that Bedoya could really turn up and get himself a signature win. If you look at Kenan Seung's last win, it was back in 2000 and 3.5 years ago. I don't even know the math on that. We're like about 2020. Callan Potter, Derek Krantz. You listen to these names, these are guys that are no longer in the UFC. And I think Bedoya can potentially find the dome here and knock him out. There's like a 7-year age difference too. Statistically, that's also another thing to add on to the favorment of Bedoya. So yeah, give me Bedoya to win.
Yeah, Bedoya dropping a split decision to Chaos Williams, no problem for me heading into this fight. I think that actually UFC experience is just going to help him here. He's the better striker. He's more explosive. He should get the knockout win here. I agree. And even if he doesn't, if you money line him, it's not that crazy. I'm looking at minus 275. Is that what you got?
Right now, I see a tag of minus 310 on the higher side, but
It's
some
worse.
books have minus 275 still, but he is swelling.
Yeah, these odds are just not very sexy, this card.
Yeah.
These odds are they ain't helping us out. I think the bookies lost some money last weekend. What do you guys think? I don't know.
Sean
I
O'Malley.
feel like they're holding their pocketbooks close this week. Yeah, we gotta go Bedoya, and I do think he could potentially finish this fight.
Let's go. And I appreciate Rod for the 199 dono. Thank you, bro. Hell yeah. Happy fucking Monday to you, my man. Much love. Much love. Bedoya to win it. I'm calling knockout. Money line is wide at minus 310, but I actually like Bedoya as a potential parlay piece. Over 1.5 at minus 200 is interesting because there's no guarantee that Seung's getting chinned early. He could go longer potentially, but then the flip side is he could also get chinned in the first round, and that under is plus 160. So I like Bedoya as a parlay piece, and I like Bedoya by KO as the official pick, plus 200. Something's telling me don't underestimate the durability of Seung. He might go the full 3. There's a chance that they go long here.
He went with Ian Gary to the third.
Right. He could go to the later stages. So I think your better bet would be obviously a money line Bedoya, but parlay piece Bedoya, I feel pretty solid. He is going to pull it off. Just unfortunately a wide favorite.
Yeah, 100% agreed. If you're seeing, that 3 number, if you see a minus and a 3, now we're in parlay land.
Yeah, parlay land, parlay USA. Bedoya, we're both riding with him here. And let's
parlay
jump.
Singapore, AJ.
Singapore, man.
Yeah, dog. It's parlay Singapore this week, son.
Parlay
I
Singapore.
think we might hear his name at the end. I don't know. Yeah. I just added him up. I told AJ, I got to keep this parlay streak going. I don't have the parlay ready yet. So as we go through this one, I'm cutting them out. I'm grabbing them. I'm considering. So Bedoya is in the running, man. I do like him in this fight. Probably the most confident pick of the card yet.
Let's go. Bedoya for the W. Next fight, we got Chidi and Njokuani versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I said it in my show yesterday. I'm disappointed that I got to pick against Njokuani. I'm picking Oleksiejczuk, man. I think he'll do work on the inside. He's the younger guy, and he's got a shitload of UFC experience. When you put him in there against Kyle Barajo and he gets controlled on the ground, I wasn't overly surprised, right? I thought that matchup was going to be difficult for him. But now I give him Njokuani, who's a good striker from distance, but I don't think it's somebody that Oleksiejczuk can't find ways inside on. And I think when we get in the punching range, Oleksiejczuk's nastier. I see it as a hard fight. I think that Oleksiejczuk could potentially surprise Njokuani with the physical strength on the inside too. I got to go with Oleksiejczuk. I hate picking against Njokuani, and sometimes I'm like, man, you should just fanboy pick your boy. But I think that Oleksiejczuk is going to get it done over the 3 rounds, man. Njokuani lost to Albert Duraev last time, lost to Gregory Rodriguez before that. Granted, he gave Gregory a nasty cut. Still a loss there. And he's a guy that's now what? Is he 36 years of age now? 34. So I guess he's not over the 35 mark, but Oleksiejczuk only 28. And I feel like he's been in the UFC forever. And I think he's found his flow at 185. Yeah, Kyle Barajo is going to bully him on the ground, but he's going to do that to a lot of strikers. Oleksiejczuk, I think, can win a hard-fought 3 rounds.
But you could say the same thing about Chidi and Njokuani. I mean, it was a split decision to Duraev that he lost. It was a loss via ground and pound to RoboCop, who is a very heavily muscled jiu-jitsu player, grappler, who obviously has hands, we saw. But I think that Chidi and Njokuani is a really tough matchup for Oleksiejczuk. The way they match up, I could imagine these two kickboxing. It's like you got 2 wrestlers, they end up kickboxing. You got 2 strikers, they end up grappling. I don't know if that'll apply here. I think Chidi and Njokuani uses his takedown defense, tries to stay on the outside, tries to use his finesse striking. He's very relaxed in there. He's very quick, and I do think that speed will accumulate, and he's more dynamic. Oleksiejczuk, I respect the hand. hands. I do. He looks really good against like a Sam Alvey. But when you're out there against a guy who's got knees and kicks and elbows and can be very dynamic and unpredictable, I think Chidi Njokuani gets this one, AJ. So you might be more of a Chidi fan, but I'm more of a Chidi believer. Give me Chidi Njokuani with the decision.
Damn, I'm glad that one of us picked our boy Chidi, even though I'm against him. You know, it's like a Chidi win. My heart won't be hurting. You know what I'm saying? I'd be happy on the inside. It's just I really think Oleksiejczuk's youth and speed with the boxing might get to him. But I'm glad you're on Chidi Bang Bang, Mike, because you know what? He's a dog in this fight. Chidi Njokuani right now sitting at plus 101. Oleksiejczuk at minus 120. It's almost even. It's a pick'em fight. And I think it's going to be a competitive one. Over 2.5 is plus 195. Interesting. I think that it might go over. You like Njokuani by knockout, Finch?
I think decision, buddy. I think that unless Oleksiejczuk wants to get a little crazy, unless he wants to start mixing it up a little bit, going for those bombs, again, I see him as more of a puncher. And when you only have a left hand and a right hand, and you're fighting a guy who has 8 limbs to hit you with, you know, the 8 limbs of Muay Thai, you got your shins, your knees, your elbows, your hands. I think Chidi Njokuani dots him up for 3 rounds.
All right. Listen, I like the call. Decision is plus 425 on the side of Njokuani and on the side of Oleksiejczuk. So this fight to go distance is going to be sitting at plus money in itself. I think we're looking at 3 rounds. I'll ride Oleksiejczuk for the W. Finch on my guy, Chidi Njokuani. I respect the side, man. And listen, he's got a real chance. I won't mind you telling me I told you so on this one, dude.
I know you're rooting for Chidi deep down, bro. I got you. I think it's a good fight. I understand why you're picking Oleksiejczuk, but you know, you're gonna get your popcorn out for this one and enjoy it, AJ. Yeah, I'm not even necessarily rooting for Chidi. I kind of like Oleksiejczuk, actually.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny as hell.
Well, my head, buddy.
We're on the opposite sides on this one, and let's keep jumping up. Next fight on the card: Toshiomi Kazama versus Garrett Armfield. Interesting clash of guys who are solid on the floor. Kazama's pretty creative with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Armfield is a Killcliff FC fighter that has a pretty solid pressure wrestling game. But I'll tell you this, I'd say that the more dangerous guy in the striking is Armfield. And there's a chance that this fight, the grappler v. grappler type matchup, ends up being more of an MMA fight and the stand-up being a big factor. I think Armfield's the better striker of the two. Kazama, I wrote down chinny ? When I was watching the tape. He got chinned 3 fights ago rather, and he got chinned in his last one. If you catch him with a clean one, you could put him out. Now, Garrett Armfield, not necessarily a knockout artist, so really officially leaning Armfield to win a hard-fought decision over Kazama here. I mean, I take positives away from him even, taking a David Onama down. I think he could get on top of Kazama and avoid the grappling attack too. I think embrace the grind. Armfield for the win by decision is the official pick, but KO's not crazy if they're striking.
Yeah, Kazan's so damn aggressive, dude. Was it him and Nakamura? They finished in like a minute, right?
Yeah, he got
shit was
bad.
dope. I mean, he comes out there to hunt. It's like he's got a knife, a dagger in his hand. He's coming out there to kill, and it's very fun to watch him fight. Heavy pressure, very physically strong, and he's shown a decent IQ with his MMA wrestling. Looking at him in fights outside of the UFC where he's wrestling in a ring where he doesn't have a cage to use. He's using some of those leg traps that we see from like early Jake Shields. All the Dagestanis use them to catch the ankles, and I like that out of him too. And Armfield moves side to side well, so it'll be hard to track him down with the straight blitz. Takedowns from body locks and single legs dumps look there. But if you look at like him versus Onama was stuffing his shots. I could imagine Kazama being able to do the same thing. And then, if the takedowns are being defended, I can imagine Kazama hitting his own, maybe getting some nice strikes off on the feet. I know he's been clipped and knocked out before, but that's because his car is going 100 miles an hour forward. He's a freaking drag car coming at you. If he's just a little more patient in this fight, I think he's got it. Give me Kazama. I think he gets to the top position, gets a TKO from Mount.
Mike Finch going Kazama call. You're Mr. Dog right now. I like it. This is back-to-back savage dog calls for the Finch man. Kazama to win is plus 150, Mike. Minus 175 for Armfield on the opposite side. You're thinking he gets a finish. So Kazama by KO is plus 900. If you're not sprinkling that, man, I think it's, almost a mistake. That's a big line, dude.
Hey, MMA Jesus comes in, Kazama all day. Let's go, Jesus. Could we hate on MMA Jesus really quick? MMA Jesus, could I pick a bone with you? MMA Jesus says that the fights were rigged on Saturday. He is so upset about some of these decisions and whatnot. Did you see anything rigged on Saturday, AJ? MMA Jesus.
I know he's upset about
this athletic commission, my friend.
He hated this one. Yeah, I know he said GM3 was raw. I picked GM3 to win, Finch, and I know MMA Jesus is going to hate this. I scored it for Petrosky 2 rounds.
It was Petrosky.
I scored it, and I have to be straight down the center. I thought the first round was close, so I thought, you know what, could go either way. Meerschaert finished stronger. But dude, if we're scoring them as 3-round fights, not as a whole, Meerschaert gets the win. But this is not one championship, baby.
MMA Jesus, bring it up again. Robo Dirty Cop. Oh shit. Black Lives Matter, RoboCop. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? No, look, I think that the first elbow or the big elbow that really hurt him was legit, dude. I don't think he's a dirty cop. I think that RoboCop got a nice one. One was a little, yeah. But there was one of those shots,
bro. The 1-inch variance. So when we get into the fucking 1-inch variance, if you're the referee and you say that shot was behind the head, and it's in the 1-inch variance as your discretion. Referees' Mohawk line is their own. 1 inch is a lot in a fucking fight. Holy shit. So I think that it was close. It was on the line. Referee thought it was clean.
When I've been in the back cornering fighters, even fighting myself, they always say the same thing. They say if you make any contact with the ear, that's a legal shot. That big elbow that really hurt him, that RoboCop threw, that actually did make some connection with the ear, even if it's just a little bit. So if you got big ears, you can kind of get hit in the back of the head. Small ear people for the win, right? And then AJ with the 1-inch variance, I actually didn't know that. I haven't heard that one, and so that's interesting. Because one of those shots was to the back of the head. But come on, is it rigged? Is it rigged, Jesus? Say it ain't so.
I mean, me, I don't think that the game is rigged at the highest level, man. I think that there's controversial decisions here and there, but I thought it was clean shit, man. I'm not getting into the conspiracy side because I think it was a clean fight. As far as all the decisions, like I've disagreed with scorecards, but dude, I do my absolute best to score it right down the middle. Even if I'm betting one guy over the other. Blackshear's fight. Damon Blackshear's fight, bro. I'm watching that fight. I like Damon Blackshear. And I think it was close, but I still had him losing on the cards. And a lot of people said they thought maybe he was robbed. I scored it for Batista. And that's me having a bet on the line too with Blackshear. But I said, hey, fuck it. Is what it is, man. I think
Ali Point TV with the dono, and he's bringing up the Blackshear fight as well. Judges were a little mobby on the cards. Ask Pedro and Blackshear. Mobby, hey, AJ's Italian. He knows about mobby.
I don't know nothing about that, but I'll tell you something. I think that Pedro, did not even close to win that fight. Joe Rogan is confusing your minds. I'll freak out about that one. That was bullshit. He's saying, oh, Munoz landing big shots when literally 30 seconds before, he's not even acknowledging Pedro getting cracked in the pocket by Marlon Vera. So I think the commentary is fucking with your head. I talked to a guy today at the gym that always, like, when he sees me, likes talking MMA, right? And he was like, dude, what'd you think of the fights? Whatever. And I was telling him, bro, the commentary is swaying your decision one way or the other. If you are not somebody that is watching fights all the fucking time, if you watch all the time, Mike is training all the time, we're around it constantly. It's a little different because then you can hear the commentary and say, what the fuck are they talking about? But like almost the commentary can sway your narrative. It's like the fucking news. You know what I'm saying? The biases of the commentary can sway the minds of the people. But when you watch enough, you sitting there. If you didn't have a bet on Pedro, I think you'd be like, yo, that was Vera's fight for sure.
Yeah, I would have to those fights I was watching out of the corner of my eye, so I would have to go back and score those boys. I paid a lot more attention when we got to the big fights, but and the Ultimate Fighter finale. I should just throw a little thing in there. The tough finale fights were nice. They showed up in great shape. I thought Gibson was ripped and actually put on a great show. I'm glad they got fight of the night. Brad Katona looking good. Big performance for Holloway over Hubbard. So we didn't even acknowledge those. So yeah, we could talk about last card all day, guys. But as far as like just zooming back out to what MMA Jesus was saying, I don't think there was anything nefarious here. No mobster shit. Nobody's paid off. No fake fights. All right, it was legit.
Alley Point VTV. Sorry, I went on a hellish rant. I appreciate the $4.99. We do. Much love to you, bro. Listen, we gotta keep running up this card, Mike. We're going on fucking tangents over here. But I'll tell you something. I'm going against you on the Armfield side. But I'm disappointed that I'm missing out on the dog, Mike. I can't even put my hands up because you got the dog money. I'm not saying I'm throwing the house on Armfield. I might go maybe Armfield, maybe later in the week in a parlay. But right now, it's not like the call that's making me like I want to run with him. At the end of the day, he's still 0-1 the UFC, as is Kazama, and Kazama's dog money. And we're in Asia, which how much of the jet lag is going to factor in? So I think that listen, this might be the money dog call. I respect this dog call, man. I respect this dog call a lot.
Thank you very much. I like this dog. This is an exciting dog.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? This is a pit bull.
It is a pit bull. An Asian pit bull. Kazama is the Finch's pick going Armfield. And let's keep running up the card. Next fight, we got Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Łukasz Brzeski. Listen, I say it all the time. Where's Waldo? We found him. I have been a Waldo believer, and I think this matchup is great for him. Brzeski is more of a plodding kickboxer that's on the slower side. Waldo is a faster heavyweight with a professional boxing background. I think he's going to chin Brzeski. I know we haven't seen the knockout from Waldo yet, but that doesn't mean he's incapable. He's just getting his footing in the UFC. And then they gave him Rogerio de Lima, who at the end of the day, yeah, he lost to, but he's honestly, I think, gaining a bit of stock in that fight as somebody that's viewing Waldo as a young heavyweight. At the end of the day, heavyweight division is weird, right? You be 41 and you're in your prime at heavyweight. It's not 155 pounds or below, right? So I see Waldo, early 30s guy, and then I see Brzeski. I think Waldo's got the athleticism. I think he's got the boxing. I think he's going to stop any attempts with the grappling. I think his footwork's pretty solid. I think whereas Waldo is going to style on more the back end tier heavyweights in the UFC, and this matchup, because Brzeski's a tough fighter and he's coming in to throw hard, he's going to get caught. I think Waldo's putting him to bed. I'm going knockout for Waldo Cortes-Acosta here, man.
Yeah, Waldo does run a 10% chance risk getting caught here, you know, especially I don't know if they're in the little cage or not. That would be
no way. I don't think so. I don't think so. I just because the magnitude of the event in Singapore, it's going to be stadium.
They're going to go big.
Yeah.
Waldo Acosta is Cortes-Acosta is just much better at boxing, and I think he'll be relaxed, and I think he'll box up, potentially goes long though. You're picking a finish?
I'm thinking he actually finishes Brzeski. I went back and I was trying to dig to Brzeski's only knockout loss, and when I saw it, I said, guy who lands good at the end of his punch with straights, I think could be the guy to put Brzeski out.
Right. Yeah.
But he's also good at decisions, though. He's getting a lot of decision wins at the end of the day.
Boudet took him to a decision. Like, Boudet's kind of, he's kind of
Boudet's better with the grappling, too. That's something we're learning about him.
He went to a decision. So I'm going to go decision, but I agree with you. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is going to win this fight.
All right, let's go. Waldo, where's Waldo, bro? I like Waldo Cortes-Acosta, man. Minus 224, favorite for Waldo. Yeah, it's a bit of a tag, but very winnable fight. And then Brzeski plus 189. I like the chances for Waldo. Cortes-Acosta plus 175 for Waldo Cortes-Acosta by knockout. And then on the side of decision for him, plus 125. I'll say this. The knockout prop doesn't really intrigue me all that much right now because I'm looking at plus 175. Then I'm seeing a Brzeski who's not easy to KO and a Waldo who's not finishing fights left and right. I would love it at plus 300. Then I would say, yeah, it's worth a throw. I think you can get it, though. Possible. I don't know. I like Moneyline. At the end of the day, it's a little wide, but he should beat Brzeski, dude. I think he isn't a KO him. I feel like he's going to put the division on notice a little bit here with this one, at least the back end guys. I don't know about the top 15. Waldo's in a spot where it's like, I think he's better than a lot of the lower tier talent, but he's also has, I don't want to say he has a hole in his game, but I think if you can leg kick him really well and wrestle him, I think the combination of that gives him trouble, man.
How does Dixon Sider in the chat know I've been to the Dominican Republic? How the hell do you know that I've been to the Dominican Republic? No, I'm not rooting for him because he's Dominican. I'm betting with my head here, my friend. I don't care. I don't care. Brzeski could go.
Mike's Dominican. What are you talking about?
Don't mind. But yeah, Dixon Sider's out here saying he knows I've been to the Dominican Republic.
How?
Brother, are you a private investigator? What are you?
Mike Finch, you must have pictures online or something, bro.
Damn, bro. I think I do. Damn, Dixon. All right, man. I gotta watch what you post around here, man. Dixon Sider might show up at your crib, bro. You have no idea what these people are doing out here, taking notes. I see you.
Hashtag Dixon knows, bro. That's worth coming out. That's funny as hell.
Dixon knows, man.
Dude, your friends on Facebook with the guy, for fuck's sake, Mike.
That's
holy
what happened.
Shit. That's funny as shit.
Happened.
That's great. Oh my god, that's funny. Mike, we're on Cortes-Acosta. I'm excited for this shit. I really think he's gonna look good, dude. I like the matchup.
Hell yeah. And I like the fighter too. I think Cortes-Acosta is a fun fighter to watch. I hope he continues to, like, he needs a knockout. You know, if he wants to propel himself up there into the conversation, he needs a knockout in this fight. I assume Brzeski is durable enough. So if you guys are thinking about betting on him, Moneyline.
Let's go. Waldo, Cortes-Acosta for the win for us both. And let's jump to the main card. Starting it off, we got Junior Tafa versus Parker Porter. And also, guys, before I break it down, make sure you smash the likes. And if you're new, subscribe. I appreciate you guys all tuning in, as does Mike. Much love to everybody. Mike, this fight here, Tafa versus Porter, exciting because it's one of those fights where if it's striking, Tafa is way better than Porter. But then on the flip side, Tafa off of his back looks quite novice at the moment, right? As far as being in the UFC would go, he doesn't seem to have amazing bottom game. He doesn't really throw up much threats. Obviously, it's because his career was, driven towards kickboxing. Now he's transitioning full-time to MMA. But his brother has a win over Parker Porter early in their fight. Tafa, Junior Tafa, he's considered the better striker of the two. I think that the hype is more so on the striking game of Junior Tafa as opposed to Justin Tafa, who chinned him. So now it comes down to, can you stop Parker Porter's takedowns? I have been noticing Porter getting caught a lot in fights early before he gets takedowns. He can be touched a bit. He's shorter than Tafa. Somehow has a big reach advantage, though. Tafa just doesn't have the length with his arms. But Tafa's kickboxing, I think, is solid, man. He could hurt Parker Porter early. He also hurt Muhammad Usman, and also something to maybe give you guys a little bit more confidence if you're on Tafa is the fact that Parker Porter is not notoriously a great finisher. I know he finished off the last fight out. Dude, I'm losing the name of the last guy Parker Porter fought, dude.
Porky Porter beat up that powerhouse striker throwing from grandma's
Braxton Smith. Yeah. But at the end of the day, before then, he had not really been, finishing anybody on the ground. He's kind of grinding to wins, using the takedowns, getting on top. I think that Tafa here can chin Parker Porter. So I'm going to go Tafa by knockout, but the concern side is going to be what happens if he's on his back. But then the, calming side is the fact that Porter is not a great finisher from top consistently.
Porky Porter can park that tank on top of you and it'll zap your energy, man. He is like, your energy bar is just gonna go down, right? It's that Mortal Kombat. He knows the extra, he knows one of those crazy moves that zaps you, man. When Tafa ends up underneath Porky Porter, he's gonna get tired. It's gonna take one good takedown for Porky Porter. After that, I think Tafa's punching power is gone, and I think Porky Porter takes this one. How dare you disrespect Porky Porter and say he's going to get knocked out? Come on, AJ. Did you just see how he handled Braxton Smith throwing those crazy-ass punches? Tafa's going to be more patient. Tafa's definitely the better striker, of the Tafa family. You're 100% on point. But I believe more in the grappling now of Porky Porter. I think he's getting better with it, and I think he saw, holy shit, I could just get on top of these guys. I could park the house on top of them, Wizard of Oz style, right, where their legs are just hanging out, and then I get to go to the after party, not fucked up. We're hitting the club. So I think Porky Porter gets it done from the top position. Give me Porky with a TKO, buddy.
Porky with the TKO, man.
Yeah.
Would you pick Porker over Muhammad Usman?
Muhammad Usman also took Tafa down.
True, but he got trouble in that fight.
Which you reminded me of before we went live. You reminded me of that. Muhammad Usman's going to be a much larger specimen to take down, so maybe not. But Tafa's like 5'9". How tall is Tafa?
Oh man, Junior Tafa's a tall guy, bro. He's 6'3".
Am I
6'3". He's
Stop!
6'3".
You're kidding.
Are you thinking of Justin Tafa, man? Is this what happened there?
No way. He's not that.
That's because that's his brother. They look identical. At least from my picture here.
So what are you saying? I'm mixing them up. I'm fucking.
I don't know if you are. Maybe, man. Just the fact you say he was shorter because his brother's short, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, 4-1 Junior Tafa. I think I got the right fucking guy.
All right.
Holy shit. Okay. Muhammad Usman. I'm thinking of the right guy, but I thought he was way. So how tall is Muhammad Usman then? Holy shit, these guys are huge.
He's tall. Yeah,
Porter's
shorter, man.
Fair enough. They're both huge. All right. I thought Porter was much bigger than him. Let me look at the weights now. Am I tripping? He's going to be 252, and Porky Porter's every bit of it. I mean, Porky Porter is bringing all the pork. Yeah. So they're Tafa's bigger than I thought. I think Porky Porter is going to be riding high after getting that grappling victory. He got to the top position and really made Braxton Smith quit. The difference is Braxton Smith is so green. Tafa's not so green. So I'm not betting the house on it or nothing, but is Porky Porter a dog, AJ?
Porter is sitting at plus 140 to Tafa at
like
minus 160.
Like
Tafa by KO minus 110. I like Tafa, man. I think he's going to pull this off, Finch, man. I'm going against you more confidently on this one here, my friend. I'm going Tafa, man.
Well, now I'm a little scared. I thought Tafa was significantly shorter, bro. I must be thinking of his brother. That's crazy. Junior Tafa, God.
He's a freak, man. I think he can chin him. I really do. I think he's going to knock him out, bro.
Woo! I think Porky Porter gets on top of him. If Porky Porter doesn't, he could get knocked out. That's for sure.
Right. Let's go. Tafa to pull it off for me. Finch going pork chop Porter for the W. And let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, Erin Blanchfield versus Talia Santos.
You said her name wrong.
Erin Blanchfield off. Is that bad luck that I said Erin Blanchfield without the OV at the end?
I don't believe in bad luck. Okay. We don't need
Mike.
Superstition around here.
I'm glad. Listen, let me fucking knock on wood a couple times. Neither do I. Nah, give me Blanchfield though in this fight, Mike. But I'll tell you this much, man. The side of Talia Santos is still tough and dangerous, and she's a girl that can fight everywhere well, and she's strong and athletic. But I've been on the Erin Blanchfield side since the come up. And I feel like I've seen a really gifted grappling ability that's not just great technique, but also some natural top control and pressure. She has a different type of, just ground skill set. There's certain fighters that I think have that. And I feel Talia Santos being a well-rounded fighter, it's still not going to be enough to overcome the Blanchfield monster grappling. And I think Blanchfield wins a decision. She's tested a bit here by Talia Santos, but I think what you guys are going to like with Blanchfield is she's going to walk forward and crack Santos a bit on the feet too.
Man, before you guys bet on Blanchfield off, make sure you rewatch Shevchenko versus Santos. Wow, did Santos put on a hell of a performance in that fight. She is very well-rounded. She's a much better striker than Erin Blanchfield is. She'll be hard to grapple with too. I think it's like not only is she going to be, dangerous on the feet, but I feel like she's going to give Blanchfieldov a lot more trouble doing the Blanchfieldov business, getting it to the ground and dominating on the ground. I think it'll be very competitive. I saw some people saying that, this is the most mispriced thing and that, oh my gosh, at odds like this, you got to go with Blanchfield. I think they priced it about right. That's about what I see as well. I see this being a good fight. I see this being, the toughest fight maybe in the division for Blanchfield. I mean, maybe even more than fighting for the title. I don't know. Santos has been out for a while, which is something to consider, as to where Blanchfield has been doing work, and I mean, did the Jessica Andrade win age well? Not really. It hasn't really.
She broke her first, bro. She broke her first, dude.
She did. It's a good point. It's a totally fair point. She deserves credit for that. Now that I've said all that, Blanchfield is very impressive with her dimension that she dominates in. I'll take her. I think Blanchfield could win this fight, but am I putting the house on it? Am I super confident? I think, Taila Santos is a real problem. These are two of the best girls in the world.
Yeah. Listen, I like the call because you know what? As much as I'm the Blanchfield all hype train, I think that Taila Santos is the toughest fight of her life. And if you look at Taila Santos's record, if not for decisions going one way or the other, she could easily be 21-0. So this is a legit matchup right here between two of the best in the weight class on the come up, especially for Blanchfield. And I got a shout out Adrian in the chat, $4.99, my guy.
Thank you.
We appreciate the dono, man. AJ, your Corinne pick last week was on the money, riding with your Erin B pick for this week. Fuck yeah, bro. Adrian, much love, man. I do think that Blanchfield's going to come through. I think she's going to pull it off. What I see from her is the takedowns are going to end up landing here. And I think she's so damn young that you look at her against Andrade, she might be 25, 30% better right now, especially in the stand-up. And that was scary because she was walking Andrade down. So I like Blanchfield a lot to win. I think she beats Santos. But ultimately, this is the most legit test of her career. But I just believe in the prospect this much here. Minus 140 for Blanchfield to Santos at plus 120. Close money line. Decision win for Blanchfield, plus 135 for the decision here. I think the decision is quite live, man. If she finished off Santos, that'd be crazy. But I respect the grappling, defensive capabilities, at least to not look like Molly Meatballs when she got destroyed or get armbarred or something crazy. Not impossible, though. Blanchfield could lock up an armbar potentially, too. But I think we're going distance.
Yeah, well, Blanchfield is so good in the top position. I don't doubt that she's going to start making it look pretty dominant once she gets to that spot. But getting to that spot will be tough. And really settling Santos down in that spot is going to be tough. Santos can definitely grapple. She's got some judo. She's got some wrestling. And you agree with me, right? She's the better striker. So Erin Blanchfield really needs to get to that one position, and that's where she's in top half guard. That's what she needs. She needs to get on top in this fight. I think she'll do it. But it's not my most confident pick on the card. Not that Erin Blanchfield isn't great. I just think Taila Santos is also great. Really, really fun fight. And these two women will both be challenging for the title. Santos again and Blanchfield for the first time. I have no doubt about that. These two are very high level.
Yeah, I think so. I think we got high level action with Blanchfield edging it in a damn good fight. I'm excited, dude. This is one of the fights that has got me hype on this card. I'm looking forward to getting up bright and early because knowing we get to see this matchup at some point during the morning hours is going to be pretty sick.
I think my favorite fight of the card, dude. This is dope.
I like this a lot. I like this a lot,
This
man.
makes women MMA look boom. Big thumbs up. Let's go, ladies.
There's some good ladies out there, man. I don't know. I think that as much as, you have the complaints of some of the women's fights, there's also an extremely good amount of straight killers that are better than we've ever seen before on the come up right now.
How dope was that Weili versus Lamoche fight?
Amazing.
Are people mad that was on the card?
Right.
This is high level martial arts. I love it. And people, you're going out to see the Barbie movie because you're a feminist. I think there's no better thing than women who are millionaires in the fight game. It's like you go to a WNBA game, you're the only person in the stands. As far as fighting goes, women are making millions of dollars. Ronda Rousey is an absolute, filthy rich woman. And they really are competing at the same level as far as eyeballs and everything as men. Very, very cool to see, and they earn it. Fuck. I mean, a lot of these women martial artists are awesome. These two right here, truly world class, truly something everybody wants to tune in to see who's a real fight fan.
Yeah, agreed. High level shit. And I can't wait for it. Let's jump to the next one, Finch. This one it's going to be a cool matchup too. Rinya Nakamura versus Fernie Garcia. So if you look at the fight, and especially if you look at the odds from the start, right? You're like, oh, this is an easy squash match for Rinya Nakamura. Not necessarily, though, because Fernie Garcia can box. He's got some speed on him. He's a guy that's well-rounded everywhere, but Rinya Nakamura happens to be a monster. So I guess you read it not necessarily perfectly right, because I think that Fernie can get out of the first round and put Nakamura in the most uncomfortable spots that he's potentially been in a while. But I still think Nakamura finds the dome and knocks him out. Journey Newsom hurt Garcia. Brady Heastan had his back. I think Nakamura is able to finish him off, man. I'm thinking he gets a knockout win, but potentially with the ground and pound. So I like Nakamura to win. He's a huge favorite, though. Huge favorite, bro.
Yeah, damn it, odds makers, damn it. The winner of the road to the UFC, Nakamura, is a problem, man. We're in Singapore. This should be a nice spotlight for Nakamura. Bisping has called him reckless, and that's one of the reasons why you get a little nervous betting on him, especially, Fernie Garcia is a capable guy and could potentially counterpunch him, but Nakamura is like, he's one of those future stars. I think he's going to shine here. I do think this is going to be a great performance for him. He potentially finishes this fight by knockout, but as AJ said, apparently the bookies think so too.
Yeah, they know so, it seems like, because the odds for this fight are minus 800 for Rinya to plus 550 for Fernie Garcia. This would be, if this happened to be an upset, it would be massive. That would be crazy, actually. The knockout is minus 135 for Nakamura. Submission is plus 275 for Nakamura, though he has sub wins, but knockout just makes sense. It's interesting that Fernie to get knocked out is like in the minus 130 range with, him being notoriously pretty tough.
Yeah.
But they have Rinya at minus 800. It's like, what can you do? They think he's going to bully him.
I mean, he did look really good. He's had some great performances.
He looks good.
Yeah.
He honestly right now is a prospect that I think, I don't know, could make a little bit of a mark on the come up at 135. He's got a good style. He's entertaining, 7-0. He's a really intimidating face too. Like, he just looks like a straight fucking killer. And I like the game, dude. I like the game.
Yeah, and Fernie losing to Journey Newsom, not a good look. Not what we're trying to see. Yeah. So we got to go with Nakamura. You guys know me. I don't love betting on these finishes. So I'd go money line with it, especially since, Fernie is pretty tough. I mean, has not been finished inside the UFC. Has he ever been finished? Not as a professional. Never been finished as a professional. So be careful betting on knockout too, guys.
Yeah. Nakamura should win. Hideous money line. Knockout prop, not in a great spot at minus 135. Nakamura is going to pull it off, though. He should get a KO. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, featured bout of the night. Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. Holy shit, this fight gets me excited, dude. Because Alex Caceres stylistically is a quite menacing matchup for Giga. Now, Giga Chikadze's stand-up game is fucking off the charts, obviously, right? Top-tier kickboxer. But Alex Caceres has an awkward flow to his stand-up, and he has a good frame for the matchup here. I think that Alex Caceres is going to strangle Giga Chikadze, Mike. I think that he's going to find takedowns. I think he's going to wear on Giga a bit against the cage. And I think in the striking department, Alex Caceres is tricky for Giga Chikadze to deal with. Now, I'll say this, Mike. If this turns into an all kickboxing fight, if Alex Caceres is unable to land the takedown, if it's striking the whole time, if you told me these two had the gentleman's agreement of just kickboxing, obviously it's Giga Chikadze. So if Caceres is unable to find this fight also in the grappling wheelhouse, I think he could be in trouble with Giga on the feet, as anybody in the featherweight division could potentially be. But I'm going to go Caceres rear naked choke, man. I think he finds the back.
Giga Chikadze is back, folks. And if you don't know about the body kicks, you're about to find out. Giga Chikadze takes livers home with him. He is a hunter of the body. And Alex Caceres has that long body. He likes to stick his arms out there wide, and he's a little wild. I think that body kick is going to slam into the liver. Liver kick KO. Round one. Give me Giga Chikadze Chikadze. With that being said, Giga Chikadze is not the best grappler on earth. There is an avenue to beat him, but everybody's going to be trying to go down that road. Giga knows exactly what he needs to do. And be honest with me, AJ, if this was after that Edson Barbosa fight, you'd be picking Giga too. It's because what you saw in that Calvin Kattar fight. And guys, this is not Calvin Kattar. This is not the forward pressure of Calvin Kattar. This is not the wrestling of Calvin Kattar. It's a completely different matchup. I got Giga Chikadze knockout.
Giga Chikadze, Finch's call. I'm going Bruce Leroy, and we have the odds in front of me here. It's minus 230 for Giga Chikadze to plus 195 for Alex Caceres. Caceres to win it by a submission, sitting at plus 600. Giga Chikadze by a knockout, sitting at plus 275. I think both of those methods of victory are quite possible, though, just to be 100% straight here. I was thinking before the fight, or the fight breakdown rather, if he can't get it to the floor, being Caceres at any point, and the grappling threat is non-existent, he's fucked there. But I feel like he can, man. I like the frame. I like the pressure. I think he could trip Giga against the cage potentially, and maybe even climb the back from the cage. That'll be something interesting too. I like Caceres. I think he finds the sub, bro. Well, I'm going against your boy Giga, and obviously I recognize the dangerous striking on the other side.
Dixon Sider, Finch picking Giga because he might see him in the gym later this week. Yeah, the gym, the grocery store. You think I'm trying to eat that kick to the body, Dixon? I don't think so. I've made it a point to never spar with Giga. Word on the street is it doesn't go that well. I've heard of some ugly KOs in the gym where he's kneed people in the head and shit. So Giga's a really nice guy. Very, very cool. It was awesome learning striking from him. He came to teach at UFC Gym Huntington Beach and gave me some tips on how to turn my kicks over. Holy moly, can this guy kick on a whole other level. I think Alex Caceres' eyes are going to go crazy wide when he feels those first couple kicks, and I do think Giga's going to control this thing. Alex Caceres has to get a takedown, and that's not something I'll bet on. So give me Giga Chikadze. We've said it. Giga Chikadze is purely a striker, and he really does need to get better at jiu-jitsu, but I know he's been training with Beneil Dariush, AJ. I know he's been training under Fabricio Verdum, and I'm confident that he's around good people and that he'll represent King's MMA well here. I've been, had the awesome opportunity to roll with Giga Chikadze myself. He's not a fish out of water, but these wrestlers are the tough part for him. Like these strong wrestlers who are going to hold him down. Alex Caceres is not that for me, dude. I think Alex Caceres is going to get fucked up on the feet, dude.
Fair. Listen, we're on opposite sides, brother. Mike on Chikadze. I'm on Caceres. Either way, I think we got an amazing fight. And let's jump to the co-main event of the evening. It's Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. Mike Finch, I'm picking Anthony Smith to beat him again. This is a rematch that I was surprised to even see, right? It's like, damn, it's interesting to see these guys facing off, right? Because their first fight was one-sided towards Anthony Smith, and he got the rear naked choke in the first round. And Ryan Spann is notoriously a guy who, if he's not getting you out of there early, there's a wilt potentially within him. He loses a bit of himself. Krylov last time got him with the submission. And you look at Anthony Smith having subbed him in the first round, the later stages of the first round, over 2.5 minutes in. And I think that Ryan Spann shines in the first 3. And then after that, it's Anthony Smith's fight. And it's not like Smith is a fish out of water in the stand-up. You look at Anthony Smith, he's notoriously durable. He's a guy that can take a lot of damage. I mean, look back to the beating he took for Glover, and he keeps coming. He doesn't want to quit. He's on the ground getting pulverized. He's not giving up in the corner. They don't want to stop the fight. The dude is incredibly durable and tough versus a guy who relies on getting a knockout. And note that Ryan Spann, I know a lot of people will take a lot away from the Dominic Reyes knockout. I think Dominic Reyes does not have the same durability nor even movement pre-John Jones fight. So we look at that as Ryan Spann, impressive win nonetheless. But he's still the same guy. When you see him fight Krylov, you see the same guy that you fought fight Anthony Smith a couple of years ago. Now we're running it back. I think Anthony Smith does it to him again. I think he finds the rear naked choke.
Man, tough pick for me, dude. Yeah, they haven't fought that long ago. Kind of a crazy matchup considering they just fought a couple of years ago. Is this a rematch you expected to see?
No.
I certainly didn't, right? But here we are, man. I see why you're going Anthony Smith. Look, I'm more impressed by Superman Spann. You know, when he smoked Ian Cutelaba and guillotined him in the first couple minutes, that was sick. You know, when he smoked Dominic Reyes early, that was sick. And then Nikita Krylov really showed us what can happen if you get past that 3-minute mark, as AJ put it. So, yeah, I believe in the durability of Smith. I do think he'll lose that first round, but if we can get into round 2, if we can get into round 3, if we can get Smith in the top position, I'll think Smith loses the first, come back in the second and third. I'll double up with you on the dog. I'll double up with you on the guy who's already won this fight before over the very talented and dangerous Superman Spann. But will you see it in my lock and parlay section? No, because Superman Spann is fucking dangerous.
Respect. As far as the odds for the fight, Anthony Smith is the underdog at plus 110. With how the first fight went, it's interesting to see that. Reason being is the Johnny Walker fight was like a bit over 6 weeks ago. And if you dig into that fight, you saw the most tentative version of Anthony Smith we have ever seen. Granted, Johnny Walker, long freak, good to control range and kickbox. Now he seemed to have calmed down. Could Ryan Spann try and replicate that style? Maybe. But I like the underdog Smith. Submission is plus 390. The fact that he's done it before aids my confidence there in the submission call.
I like it, man. Yeah, I could see him by rear naked strangle, dude. That makes a lot of sense. Again, the fact that they're rematching just a couple of years later is pretty bizarre. You can imagine Spann making some mistakes when he gets tired. And, Anthony Smith, you made the point first, very durable. So, just freaking gut out that first round, Anthony, and this is yours.
Yeah, I agree, bro. Let's go. Mike, it's time. We got to jump to the next one. It is the main event of the evening. Yeah. If you guys are watching, if you enjoy Moneyline Monday, make sure you smash the like button. And if this is your first time on the channel, subscribe. I got daily content coming out every day. And we got the Fuego show right now with my guy Mike Finch, Moneyline Monday. It's Max Holloway versus Chan Sung Jung, a.k.a. the Korean Zombie. And the pick is going to be Max Holloway. I really think he's going to be able to outstrike Zombie probably in the majority of the exchanges that they have, but Zombie is as tough as they come. I mean, you don't get the nickname Zombie for being chinny, okay? Korean Zombie is a guy that can walk through fire and keep on coming. Can Max Holloway kill Zombie? The only way I see him stopping him is a standing TKO. I don't think he's doing a spinning elbow like Yair Rodriguez and putting him out. That was one of the craziest knockouts of all time. I think Holloway beats up Zombie, and I could see a 4th or 5th round, more of a volume TKO, but I also feel like decision for Holloway makes a lot of sense. 5 rounds, potentially 4 rounds to 1 if Zombie has a good first, but I'm seeing 5 rounds to 0.
I like it, dude. Man, I think that Zombie and Holloway is a huge mismatch, and you gotta love Korean Zombie. I swear I was looking for that Korean Zombie shirt as soon as he beat up was it Leonard Garcia in WEC? Was that crazy fight? Leonard Garcia, Korean Zombie, they went to war. That was crazy. And I've been a Korean Zombie fan for a decade, man. So Korean Zombie, I mean, you gotta love this shit. But Max Holloway matching up against the Zombie, dude, Max Holloway is so precise. He throws such beautiful combinations, the footwork, the way he angles out after he throws that jab lead hook. It's beautiful, and it's going to work so well against the Korean Zombie style, who's a little flatter, likes to loop his shit, always keeps his hips behind his shots. I think that he's going to get peppered until that sandwich is so seasoned up. And then Max Holloway is going to eat it, dude. I do think that Max Holloway is going to finish this fight in the later rounds. 4th or 5th round, Max Holloway puts the hands together, potentially chokes him. Maybe a rare Max Holloway submission. I don't know, but I got to imagine Max Holloway can get him out of there in 25 minutes. He should absolutely one-sidedly dominate the striking in this fight. And that's with all love for Korean Zombie, brother. I'm a huge fan, I must say. A Korean Zombie knockout would be sick. I would love it. But Max Holloway is a lot better, not a little better. And Max Holloway still looks like he's in his prime to me. Korean Zombie, I can't say the same, right? Watch that Volkanovski fight and tell me that Korean Zombie is still in his prime. I've got Max blessed Holloway all day, but apparently everybody else does too.
Max Holloway, 8-1 favorite. Yeah, it's minus 800. Jung at plus 550. The over 2.5, interesting, minus 245. Probably goes over 2.5. We're probably going into the, I think, decision, but fourth or fifth, I feel highly confident about. A Holloway TKO is minus 120 with a Holloway decision at plus 165. The submission prop for Holloway Finch is plus 1800, man.
Whoa. These props, dude, these props are crazy. I would be careful on the props in this one because honestly, if Max Holloway was ever going to get a first round KO, this might be it. And I know you guys are like, whoa, Zombie's so durable. Yeah, but Zombie is getting as old as a zombie now. You got to be careful, man. You never know when that chin's going to go. And Max Holloway's got some head kicks he's been showing too, guys. Be careful.
Be careful. Be careful. I think Max Holloway's coming like fucking bat out of hell, you know? Absolute pit bull fight. He's going to whoop him, and I like Zombie a lot, but I just think there's levels to the game right now, and Zombie doesn't have the speed to keep up with Holloway at this point. Holloway styles on him. I'm going to say decision, though. I'm going to say that he goes to full 5, but I like the fight. I hate the odds, though. The odds suck, dude.
Yeah, the odds are not beautiful. It even makes me wonder if I should even throw it in the parlay because, you know, with the first glance of this card, I'm like, okay, Holloway's a lock and a half. You know, you could put a big fat lock on that one. But to earn what money, you know, we got to make some money at the end of the day. So we'll see what I do in the parlay section here, right? But I do think that Max Holloway is by far the most confident bet on the card. Unfortunately, the bookies recognize the same thing.
Yeah, agreed. And that's why he's 8-1. But hey, you brought up parlays. What I want to get into now, though, is the notorious section, probably the infamous section, the lock of the night. Moneyline, lock of the night for UFC Singapore. Mike and I are riding high because last week I hit with Chito Vera as the lock. Mike Finch brought the heat with Petrosky as the lock, and we're cruising into this week with good momentum, man. Mike, this is a notoriously dangerous section, the lock of the night. Reason being is because you're looking for odds mixed with likelihood, and sometimes shit can hit the fan when you do it. But shit, right. Momentum on our side, I think we're cruising in with W's coming this week. So Finch, start us off. What's the lock?
I mean, the obvious lock is Max Holloway, but you guys want to make some money? Let's go with the dog. Give me Chidi Njokuani. I think Chidi Njokuani is going to use all his limbs in this fight, use his movement, be able to be nice and dynamic against Oleksiejczuk, and take this decision. I do believe Chidi Njokuani bounces back nicely here after that split decision loss to Duraev. The wrestling's not going to be a problem here. Let's go with a nice, comfortable striking performance by Chidi Njokuani.
Chidi Njokuani, Mike, that's a notorious call because normally I'm on the Chidi side and I'm throwing him out as the lock, and I'm glad that you picked him up as a dog. I think that he's viable to pull this shit off. So for me, the lock section is also difficult because I had pretty much two names ringing in my ear throughout the entire show and previously, and I'm sitting here right now. I'm stalling a little bit. You know why? Because I got to decide, do I go for the juice or do I go for the squeeze? Okay.
Interesting. I think now you need to give the fans the juice and the squeeze. You know what I mean? I think the squeeze is Max Holloway. I mean, come on. What's the most dominant matchup on this card? It's very obvious, but the people want some odds they can bet on, AJ.
Listen, man, I got to go with my gut. I got to go Where's Waldo. I've locked them before. I don't like the tag at minus 225, which is why I kind of feel shitey about throwing him out as the lock. But damn, I like his chances to win. I think he does pull it off. I feel like he's a staple to your parlays. I think he's going to fuck Brzeski up. I think he's a lot better. I like Waldo Cortes-Acosta. If you were wondering what the other name was, it was Anthony Smith because Anthony Smith was a dog. I'll throw out the most confident picks, and I think I got some value coming on Wednesday because there's a name that me and Mike Finch disagreed on that I also think is a pretty good money line bet. So Wednesday, that show, I'll drop the heat with that. I'm looking forward to talking about it then. Mike, I want to get into the parlays, bro. I want to parlay it up. Let's go. Parlay time.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Mike Finch, it's parlay time. And you're up first, bro. You're up first.
Let me put the sunglasses on and talk my shit. It's not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 times in a row I've hit this parlay section right. Is it 6? It actually might be 6. 6 times in a row I've hit this parlay correct. I'm on a freaking roll, folks, and I'm going for a 3-legger on this one, all right? I think Max Holloway is the easiest pick of the freaking year, all right? Come on. Of course, he's going to school up Korean Zombie. This is the fight that he wanted. We'll sweeten up the parlay with it. I don't really see Zombie catching him. That's his only shot. Then we're going to go with Where's Waldo. I think AJ's on point with his lock of the night. I'm going Where's Waldo as well. And then another, it's a dominant favorite, but guys, that's why we went 3. Give me Rinya Nakamura. He's going to tag up Fernie Garcia. These are the 3 most confident picks on the card. We might as well put them in together for a 3-leg parlay, and you'll get a little bit of cash.
So it's Rinya Nakamura, Max Holloway, and we got Waldo.
Yes.
Minus 120 for that one right there. I think that's a heavy hitter. It ends up coming to good money. I think it could happen for sure. High likelihood. That's like a lock right there. The parlay section, we call it $100 parlay. You call it the lock parlay with the way Finch is coming out with the heat, man, because I think that is a pretty locky style parlay. Now, for me, I'm going in the complete opposite direction. I'm not going for favorites, big favorites at least. I'm throwing Mike Finch's guy, his favorite fighter, Junior Tafa. I'm putting him on the slate with Anthony Smith in a dog and close money parlay for plus 260. We got Tafa and Anthony Smith on the parlay. I like those 2 fighters, man. I think big money's coming from it. I'm bringing the savagery with the parlay, man.
Let's go, AJ. Let's go, buddy. Come on, man. Come on. Hey, we got everything but 1 last week. You too, right?
Dude, I think
we're riding in with fucking momentum this week.
8-4 with the additional picks that came in.
Is that right?
That was my call. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
I think I got everything but 1. The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I think so, man. Good
Damn
shit,
it! I listened to AJ. I freaking took cover. I should have kept Taliban. Damn it, AJ! You're a convincing guy, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. Listen, well, say it.
Say what? That I had Kurt Hollabaugh.
Say it that I'm a master salesman. That's what I'm saying. Say it.
He's fucking Wolf of Wall Street. It's the Wolf of Florida over here, man.
Oh shit.
Holy moly. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. We just did 2 freaking hours with you folks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Look, this card's harder to pick than the last card, so be careful. Make sure you guys are making your own decisions. We're just giving you our 2 cents. I appreciate every freaking donation. You guys are awesome. If you made any money from our picks last week, show us love. We really do appreciate it. AJ's at 20K. That's super, super sick. We'll keep it here locked in every single Monday. AJ's helping you guys out with Dana White Contender Series. Facts.
It's coming up, bro. Dana White's Contender Series predictions are dropping after Moneyline. I still got to record the breakdown, so expect it in the next 2 hours or so from me.
There it is. There it is. Oh. And AJ's been killing it too. So keep it locked in with AJ. I always jump in on Saturday. I'm going to start making some MMA content for you guys. I'm linking up with my guy Ezra tonight. We're going to film some jiu-jitsu techniques. Maybe you guys like it. Maybe you don't. Check in for it. I know AJ pumps out crazy content. My channel grows cobwebs, but at Mike Finch, and I'll start pumping some content out for you guys.
So, Finch, man, much love. Let's get it. I appreciate everybody watching. Smash the likes here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe with the post notifications turned on so you don't miss a video, because there's plenty of content dropping every single day of the week. I appreciate everybody watching. Much love, Finch. I appreciate you. And we will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody. And we'll see you soon.